everybody, and welcome to the HeartWorking Dad Podcast, the podcast for Christian fathers looking to do the hard work in themselves to transform their family life. Hello, I am your host, Gabriel Perez. This is the first time we're meeting. I am married to my wife 19 years. We have 3 kids, and my wife and I both partner together in homeschooling our kids. And in addition to that, I am a certified biblical parenting coach. That is a heart-based parenting method. All right, here we go. Welcome to the podcast. Just like to say, if you've been listening, would you please do me the honor, the favor of leaving 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Podcasts? I would very much appreciate that. And subscribe to the podcast. We have episodes every Tuesday and Friday, and I try my best to keep them at 10 minutes short. So that way you can get a challenge and encouragement, move on in your day. So let's just jump right in. Leading a parenting class at our church with my wife, and it's teaching the biblical parenting method that I'm certified in. And I'm always, as much as I've listened to this content, as much as I've digested it, man, this always just hits home. And that is, there is character in the detour. There's character in the detour. And that says so much for myself and so much for how we want to raise our kids. We want our kids to have character. What is character? Character is something that is, you're doing something out of the honesty of your heart. You're doing it because it's your good character, your good nature, it's integrity. It's doing the right thing, not because you have to, but because it's the right thing. That's what having good character is, and it's having a sound mind. I heard it I was watching a homeschooling dad talk about his homeschool. And he said, my kids, I don't care so much about the education aspect. This is not verbatim. He might not say that. I don't want to incriminate him. But he's like, I care more about their character. Because if their character is solid, it doesn't matter what they do. They will be happy in life no matter what, as long as they have good character. They could be sweeping trash up at Disneyland and they would be happy. And that is the essence of good character. And translate that back to us as fathers. How is your character? I'm telling you, as a grown man, it is something that I have to work on, because it wasn't something that was really worked on growing up. You know, I just kind of did what I did without any real repercussions. You know, I knew, like, if I did this, I'd get in trouble. So I tried not to get in trouble, but it was more just like because I didn't want to get in trouble. It wasn't because I wanted to do the right thing. And so now here I find myself an older person, and sometimes it's hard to do the right thing. Sometimes it's hard to really get your heart in the right place, that it's secure. It's, like, I'm not always reaching for something new or trying something else. You know, like, when you have a good character, you're secure where you're at in your situation. I'm reminded of Psalms when it says God tested Joseph's character so he could fulfill his dreams. God cares about your character. And so as parents, how is character formed? In the detours. It would be really hard pressed to build character if you didn't have to go through anything, if you didn't have to struggle. And I think as our kids grow up, there are some times that we will neglect building the character to correct the behavior. You know, instead of kind of helping them to understand why it's wrong to hit your sister, we just correct the behavior and be like, don't hit your sister. It's the wrong thing to do. And so in their mind, we're not building up their character. We're just giving them an instruction of, don't do this. These are the rules. Don't do that. And yeah, they could follow those rules, but is it going to be long lasting? Is it enough to make them do the right thing the next time that they're challenged in this? And so I encourage you that as you are parenting your kids, you look for these moments where you could build their character instead of correcting the behavior. And that's what I love about the heart-based approaches, because we're working on the heart. We're not working on the behavior. The behavior comes when you've worked on the heart and the heart is secure. The heart is worked on. When that is changed, the behavior changes. And that only comes in the detours. It only comes in those moments when they're freaking out and you just want them to stop. You just want them to stop doing it because you don't want to take the time to work on their hearts. And believe me, I am that dad who is there. There are so many times when I just want them to stop. I just want to correct the behavior because I don't want to deal with the heart, because the heart is tricky. It's messy sometimes. And as I'm always brought back to myself, that's what I've learned in fathering, is that I parent my kids, but so often in me parenting my kids, I feel like God is parenting me. God is fathering me. My son lost his temper. I'm like, why, you're losing your temper. I'm talking to him about it. And then God will immediately be like, did you lose your temper? Did you lose your temper that one time? And it's just like busted. I remember coming home from a little vacation. We went camping. It was a good time. And one of my kids said, gosh, this is the worst day ever. This car ride is taking so long. It was only a 2.5-hour car ride. And we're like, that's interesting that you would say that, because I think we did a lot of fun things today. We went to a museum. We went camping. You had a lot of fun this weekend, didn't you? And they were like, yeah, I did. Well, so is this really the worst day? It kind of hurts our hearts, because it kind of sounds like you're not really grateful for what we did this weekend. And you're giving the lecture, but we're also trying to bring to the mind, like, this is how it's making us feel, and this is what you're portraying to us, and is this reality? Give them some time to think about it. But even in my own parenting method, obviously I'm probably being the dad. I was being the dad and just scolding him a little bit, and being a little irritated that he said that. And then I realized very quickly, actually, God spoke into my heart and was like, you kind of complain a lot to me too. Didn't I do this for you, and then you still weren't happy? And it's full circle, comes right back on us. And what does that do? There's conviction, but then there's compassion. I now have a better understanding. I can now actually look and approach my kids a little bit differently, because I can be like, it's not I'm better than you, but it's understanding where they're at, because I've been there and I'm still kind of there. So my encouragement to you, Dad, is find that there's joy in the detour. There is heart work in the detour. And it's okay if you're there. Take a moment to be there in that detour. One thing I'd like to really challenge you guys on, and challenge myself on, is actually taking a pause before I respond. Because I think when a situation arises, I want to react. And I think so often, and it could even be in an interaction with my wife, I find myself saying, I wish I waited before I reacted. I wish I gave myself a couple seconds to just pause and then respond. So if you're finding yourself in a tough situation, the challenge is to pause before you respond and not react. And the encouragement is, if you're in it, there is grace. There is grace in these moments. Grace for you, because God understands where you're at. Grace for your family, because every family is like that. There isn't no family who doesn't struggle with that. I'm learning more and more in leading these parenting classes that we're all in the same boat. Parenting is hard work. And they always say it's hard work because it's heart work, but it's just hard work. It's taxing. And don't let social media make you think that parenting is just all fun, happy things. Like I've been doing some reels of my family, and I'm like, I hope this just doesn't portray that I'm I like to portray things I do with my family, like how my everyday life is, because it is pretty hectic. There's our fun times, but it's not portraying that I'm a perfect dad. I hope it doesn't, because I'm not. I'm stumbling, I'm failing, I'm messing up, but I'm also getting back up. And I think that's what we need to always be remembered, is that we just keep in it, keep in the battle. I've crossed the 10-minute mark. I'm on 11, so I'm going to stop it right here. And so thank you for tuning in. I'll catch you on next week's episode.